Hi, I'm Michael Owen and I'm thrilled to join Weeks as their global brand ambassador. In football, success comes from precision, speed and strategy. Every move matters. With 1,000 plus trading pairs, you can trade spot, futures and more. And security? Weeks leads the way with Plus, a 1,000 Bitcoin protection fund. Join me on Weeks, where new wealth is made.
Hey legends, and a really warm welcome and a very happy Monday the 1st of December to everyone and to our final day of the 2025 Trading Congress. So I'd like to welcome you all. We've enjoyed a full week last week of focused education, market insights, practical guidance, all designed to help you all become the best versions of yourself, stronger and better traders, investors, and better and well informed. This year, Trading Congress was supported by our partners EdgeX and Weeks, who made this entire edition free for everyone. So a really, really big shout out to them. All key links can be found down in the description if you are watching this on YouTube. And if you're watching this through Twitter or X, just pop across to the Bird Nest profile and you can find everything that you need. So without further ado, we've got an amazing show today. We want to absolutely go out on a bang. And I would love to welcome and introduce you all to Ricardo from Nansen. Hey, Ricardo.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Very welcome, my friend. Very welcome. What I'm going to try and do, Ricardo, is I'm going to fight my natural impulse and try and speak as little as possible until I just can't hold it in anymore. Right? I'm going to have some interesting questions, I think. But I really want to pass everything over to you because I know, time's short relatively to really kind of get into the deep parts of what you guys do. So maybe we can kick off a little bit about yourself and a little bit about Nansen.
Perfect. So as you guys all know, my name is Ricardo. I work here at Nansen as the affiliate manager. So I manage all partnerships with affiliates, content creators in order for affiliates to drive more subscriptions and to drive more value into the Nansen ecosystem. I assume that most of the audience here is likely familiar with Nansen, but just to give you a little bit of an overview, Nansen is an on-chain analytics platform. We cover multi-chain, so different numbers of chains across the blockchain space, and we provide insights for investors to help grow their portfolios. So how do we do this? We allow you investors using Nansen to discover new token opportunities. That's the main one, from finding out what whales are buying, what smart money addresses are buying, and I'll dive into this smart money segment just after. We allow you also to do due diligence. So once you really identify what kind of what token you'd be looking at buying, is this something that you want to invest in? So Nansen provides you a whole different set of data from which you can analyze these different analysis and defending your position. So once you've identified the token, you've done your research, you actually executed your trade, it's time to defend your portfolio and defend your position, which is so-called the risk management part of things. So with that being said, Nansen also allows you to track inflows and outflows across these specific tokens, and allows you really to see what's happening behind the scenes, which you wouldn't be able to find across any other data analytics platform.
So it sounds a little bit like a turnkey solution, right? Maximizing the power of AI, opening it to everyone. I've been through the platform. It's got a wonderful UX, okay, so a user experience, which I think is super important when you're dealing with a lot of, let's be honest about it, quite complex data. People talk about smart money, whales, tracking wallets, right? But actually, when it comes down to it, what you really want, unless you're incredibly well versed in that, is, platforms and people that can really help you through that. So before you really dive deep, maybe you can kind of start by explaining to us, what smart money really is for you guys, defining smart money on chain and how you really kind of help people lock in with that.
Yeah, of course. So here at Nansen, one of the big things that our product allows its users to go by is following the smart money.
Mm-hmm.
Nansen describes smart money as the top of the traders on chain. So we're able to label over 300 million wallets on chain. And from those 300 million, we identified the 10,000 most profitable and ones that have the highest win rate, PNL. And from there, we label this as smart money. And these are really the top of the top traders on chain. And we allow you to see what the best performing addresses are executing in real time. These can be DEX traders, funds, can be hairdrop hunters, the meme coin experts, multiple different labels that you can also apply to smart money. But the core of things is to allow any investor to be able to follow what the smartest traders on chain are doing.
Awesome. So basically seeing what's behind, seeing the major players in the market, because, it's not too dissimilar to my early days in trading, right? You learn very quickly, especially if you have exposure to any kind of funds. You see who the major players are. Major players have a lot of information, resources, other bits and pieces that maybe aren't readily available to other people. So being able to understand how they're maneuvering can be really important. Now, back in the day, you show my age a little bit here, you used to have to use something like the Bloomberg terminal, right? And unless you had a spare 20, 30 grand a year, it wasn't the easiest thing to access, right? But, companies like Nansen now are bringing all of this information to people's fingertips, right? For really, it's hard to even call it a fraction of the cost comparing it to something like Bloomberg, right? But, I'm sure you're going to get onto this anyway, so I don't want to kind of interrupt your flow, but I'm really looking forward to, maybe showing the platform a little bit as well. But yeah, please go ahead as you see fit. But I think really exciting kind of foreground for everybody to understand.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just wanted to highlight, especially nowadays, where Nansen has adapted its pricing very radically over the last couple of weeks. So we used to have two different subscription tiers, which was the professional priced at $1,000 per month and the Pioneer at $100 per month. And now we've cut this two pricing plans into just one, which is Nansen Pro, and it costs about $50 per month. So if you pay it on a yearly, so it's in democratizing access to Nansen and to our data by a very long margin. So you can look at how fractionalized the price has been cut off. So it's never been a better opportunity to get yourself your hands and try out Nansen.
That's a hell of a saving, right? And not just Black Friday here, right? That's really across the board. So that's incredible.
And most of the times what we see from our users is that all it takes is for them to be able to find a good trade following the smart money, and they'll make up for their Nansen subscription. So the subscription itself will pay off on its own if you're able to use it accordingly.
Amazing. Well, I love the accessibility of it, right? Again, it's just taking down those barriers to entry for people to actually step into that space and think, look, for that kind of cost, let me try this for a few months, see if it brings any edge to my game, right? So yeah, awesome. Excited, really excited.
Absolutely. So perhaps I can give you an overview around the platform. Maybe I will share my screen, right?
Yeah, awesome.
It'll be easier. Perfect.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Here we go. Let me just add this on for you. Absolutely magic. Right, I'm going to pop us away here so we can just have real full visuals on this for a little bit. So please go ahead, Ricardo.
Perfect. So once you log into Nansen, the first thing that you will see is, Let me just sign it. Important piece. 1 second. There you go. So once you sign into Nansen, the first thing that you will come across is our initial homepage. On the left-hand side, you'll have different segments which you can look at, which is our smart money dashboard, our token screener, Nansen profiler. We've also got chain metrics, AI insights, and last but not least, which I'll touch at the end, our mobile app, which is pretty cool. But essentially, the first step on my Nansen journey would be to go on Smart Money, which here you'll be able to find a leaderboard across who are the best smart money traders on chain over a specific time frame, right? And you would also be able to add a label or filtering. So within Smart Money, as I said before, there are different kinds of attributes. There's Smart Money that's been performing well over the last 30 days, 90 days, 180. There's also different behaviors such as early investor, emerging whales. You know, you can really dive deep into this, but for the sake of the exercise, we can potentially look just at funds, which usually also have very strong teams of analysts. A lot of these funds have over 30, 40 analysts working on finding the best opportunities. So when you access Nansen, you actually have the accessibility to the whole team of research just at your on your screen.
It almost seems a little bit unfair, right? I mean,
yeah, exactly. So if you filter it by funds, you could potentially see here over the last 30 days some of the best performing funds on chain. As you can see here, their addresses have been labeled already. And you can see what's been their P&L, both realized, or if I click here, unrealized as well. You could see the ROI, win rate, trades executed over this time frame, and across many other metrics.
Wow, that's really interesting.
If instead of looking at specific addresses, you'd want to look at the top tokens, we can also see by the amount of inflows and outflows what tokens are trending across Smart Money. And this is probably the first thing that I do once I log into Nansen is see if there's any unusual amount of inflow or outflows from a token. So I can see here this token, for example, which has seen a high inflow of Smart Money over the last 24 hours. And it's like it's been also, it was only over the last 24 hours that they had this inflow. So perhaps this could be a sign that something hot might be coming into HNT, which I wasn't too familiar with. I can see market cap of 350 million, but only one trader. So it was only one Smart Money address that actually represented this inflow.
Interesting. I mean, really interesting, right? Because what I like about that is you're kind of doing that. I can't help myself, but as a technical trader, I'm looking at the kind of charts at the moment, and you know, again, it's all about confidence in this game. I can see with HNT, you know, we're coming into a good area of potential of demand here, untapped demand. Price has just had a good correction. We're engaging with like the Fibonacci golden pocket. Just to give you a few examples, right? We've got that good 50% impulse retrace we like to see in the technical game. So all of a sudden, you know, to know that there's at least some major players or a major player interested in this gives me a little bit more interest in this now. Might make me put it on my watch list. Whereas before, you know, maybe, you know, it looks very similar to a lot of other tokens right now.
Exactly. And once you're able to complement this data that Smart Money from Nansen gives you with your technical knowledge and being able to find patterns over charts, this gives you a boost in terms of the confidence that you have on certain positions, right? Because as you complement different sources of information, it's just going to give you a wider edge in terms of like performing this kind of research.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, look, as traders, whether you're technical or not, the game is all about edge, right? And I mean, and anytime you can get confluence to that, confluence breeds confidence, confidence then allows you to have conviction. All of those things come together. But it's, you know, what I love is that, you know, you can be as technical as you like. What you can't see on the charts, you know, are the people that are accumulating this, the activity that's going on in the background, right? So if we could, you know, using the filter systems, you're finding some maybe long-term experienced whales. You're starting to see those same kind of people become very active in maybe the shorter time frames, like in the last 30 days. You might think, okay, well, considering the big pullback we've had recently, all of a sudden it seems like some of these, you know, OGs, for one of a, you know, a more regular term, are really starting to pick up interest in this now. So maybe I'll start watching the charts.
Yeah, precisely. But sometimes you can also see that inflows and outflows could be just one indicator. And yeah, I like to back test it with additional sources of data. So one of the additional sources that I would use is the number of actual smart money traders into these positions. So if I filter it down, I can see here that there's a few other tokens that had like an amount of smart money traders going in.
Interesting as well, like lower caps kind of aligns with the fact that people are looking at the moment that the majors haven't really been moving a lot. You're looking for these more speculative coins, right, to make a bit of money.
You can also see, if you go on a 30-day flows, that, for example, here Morpho has had close to 1 million flows. So perhaps if we wanted to dive into Morpho, let's take this as an example. The first thing that we would have is an overview, or very similar to a trading view chart. But what I like about here at Nansen versus others, and as you guys can see here, this is a little sneak peek of what's going to come up. You'll be able to execute your trades soon on Nansen. This is a feature that we'll have. More details to come very soon on this.
Good teaser.
But something that I really like about Nansen is, like, sometimes we see very strong candles and we wonder who actually drove the price to go up across these big candles, either sells, buys. And what you can do here is, for example, click on Candlestick Inspector. You have this dashboard here below. As you can see who bought and who sold specific time frames, but we could just like click Candlestick Inspector and click, say, on this candle down, and see who are the addresses that sold.
Wow. So you can see who the aggressors were, right? And then, so you could, for example, you would find some of these addresses, and then you might be able to think, okay, actually, I recognize some of these players, you know, as, you know, whatever, people that are moving in and out of these type of projects quite a lot, or other people who are holding with more conviction.
Exactly. And if you wanted to give a better view about this, you could come here on the Holders tab, and you'd be able to see what's the holding distribution across a different number of types of addresses. So if you see here on the top 100 addresses, many of these will be exchanges, of course. There'll be a few SEX indexes, also Galaxy Digital, which perhaps could be doing some market making. They're on Morpho. But interestingly enough, we can also put on the 90 days and see if smart money over the last 90 days has been leaving Morpho.
Wow, but public figures. Tell me more about public figure. I mean, who's this? Why wasn't I backing these people, right?
Exactly. But public figures, as you can see, there's been a few that have been accumulating over the last, namely Justin Sun. So as you can see here, if we put over the last 30 days, Justin Sun was the big driver.
Wow. Okay, so interesting that, right? Because can kind of help you understand a little bit more if it's kind of, you know, maybe sentiment, marketing, kind of, you know, the more kind of influential reachers that are kind of driving these projects, or if there really are kind of funds and, you know, so-called smart money involved.
Exactly. And I was showing you can either do it by entity, or I would highly suggest when you go on specific like smart money to do it by address.
Yeah.
But sometimes not every address is labeled as an entity.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I can imagine. Don't want everything to be too obvious.
So here you'd be able to see who are these smart money addresses and how much value they have over Morpho. 10 million.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. And again, look at the capital funds, venture, everything in there.
Exactly. And something that you can also do that would be pretty cool, I say in my belief, is, let's say, for example, Strobe Ventures, right? We can right click and go on wallet profiler for token. And this would give us the entries where Strobe Ventures receive Morpho tokens.
Oh wow. Okay, that's super interesting. So I mean you can also use this the other way, right? As a technical trader, one of the big
Yes,
parts of my trading
exactly.
is finding when people are in hurt. Yeah, finding when people are in pain, reversal levels, when they're starting to be the wrong side of the trade. So you can kind of see how some of these people are coming under pressure at certain levels.
Yes, exactly. So as far as we can see, they're slightly under the water right now. They had the transfer coming in here and here. TI is transfer inbound. There's also transfer outbound when they send, or B and S for buy and sell.
Interesting.
So you
Super interesting.
also see this. Yeah, this would be an example of how to check when smart money buys, when they sell. Perhaps we can do something a little bit different. Let's say we go back and find a new token. Or we can even go on my watch list. And I have already labeled a few addresses. So I've labeled here funds like Sigil Fund. I gave this address as Solana Trenches. Smart. Right now, he doesn't seem to have that much, but there was a point in time where this guy was actually performing very well.
Well, maybe he really is smart, right? Because the net worth might mean that he's taken a lot of that money off now, right?
Exactly. Or some of them might not even at some point. Like their P&L is already at minus 2 million. So perhaps
It might mean they're holding through the pain, right? People that are looking to accumulate, people that aren't looking, have belief in the project. They're not looking. I mean, anyone that's happy to sit 2 million underwater, it doesn't matter if you're a fund, smart money, or whatever. You've got to have some conviction in that project.
You're absolutely right. And for example, if we come here on Sigil Fund, and once you click on an address, you can add them to your watch list. Or in this case, I'll remove, but you can copy paste this address if you want to go on Etherscan or any other platform. But you can also create alerts. And you could, for example, want to know, if I create an alert, I want to track whenever Sigil Fund sells over 100K. And our agent is going to be able to give you a smart alert. So whenever Sigil Fund sells over 100K or buys, or if you want to add even more specifics, like a specific token, chain, whatever you want to add on this, you can create this alert. And as you see, after a few seconds, perfect. Set up an alert for whenever Sigil Fund sells tokens.
Wow. Okay, so this is completely customizable. You're using AI agent here to take the information, condense that into an actionable alert that you put on there, and basically all based. I thought, again, showing my age a little bit here, but normally when you go onto these kind of things and you say, set me an alert for something around 100K, you get a list of frequently asked questions, most of which don't really address what you're asking for.
Yep.
And you have to do the hard work yourself, right?
Yeah, and as you can see, create alert. I have a Telegram channel where I receive all my alerts, and you can come here and see. And you can even add more filters into this alert. And this is our feature called Smart Alerts. And as you can see here below, I already have like a few smart alerts for some specific wallets, some specific tokens. And here's a few examples of some of the stuff, like when Ethereum Foundation sells more than 100K, when you see an outflow from a centralized exchange over 100 million, it could potentially signal a hack, for example. And you really want to be on top of any sort of market events, not just when a smart money wallet buys or sells, but also, let's say, for example, there's a hack, and there's or even when Pengu transfers exceed 100K. a lot of things that you can do over the smart alerts, and this is all based on an LLM. So all you need to do is just type what you want to see, and you'll be able to get that.
I mean, that's absolutely incredible. I mean, I'm blown away by that just because of the granularity that you can add. For example, something immediately jumps out to me is the whole kind of, buy the rumor, sell the news kind of events that you get that are particularly kind of big in crypto as well, right? Like, say, for example, Ethereum upgrade coming and all these other bits and pieces. To take a look at the people that are really accumulating into that versus the really key actions on the launch, to start to see if, some major players are really starting to shed and that they've made their money on the way up and they don't intend to hold out.
Precisely. And that's exactly the goal of our smart alerts. Something that really comes to my mind when I think about this, it's also our chains insights. So many people want to know what's happening across different chains, and our dashboard allows you to check like the number of active addresses, how these have been growing throughout the different specific time frames.
Wow.
You can even go into deeper detail. I know Monad, for example, is now one of the big launches that came
39% up there. So I mean, this would have been huge to have this before, like, just for example, everybody looked at the start of this cycle, right? And everybody was kind of caught off guard a little bit by the memes doing so well. And obviously Solana chain just blew up because they held the lion's share of that. Well, you could have kind of got a little bit of an early warning of that here, right? You would have seen the overperformance of Solana and the activity going into it. Then also you could highlight the type of tokens people were really investing in and then filter it by major players that have been in the game successfully for long periods of time, right? And really start to see where that money's going.
Yeah, that's completely true. And even with Hyperliquid, for example, here at Nansen, one of the features that we have is to be able to give you Hyperliquid perps leaderboard. So as you can see here, you can see who are the best traders on Hyperliquid.
Wow.
And if I click here, for example, on Abraxas Capital, you can see which positions they have in real time open.
That's amazing. So, for example, could you set an alert on these guys for when they like open a new position?
Absolutely, and the button is right here, and you can just ask, alert me when Abraxas go long or short on any specific token. That will work.
That's absolutely incredible.
Yeah. So if you want to follow what Smart Money is doing and see what kind of positions they have open, as you can see that they're basically short the whole market right now.
Yeah, no wonder they're doing so well.
And you guys can see exactly. No wonder that they're doing so well. And you can see as well that their live trades, everything that's been happening. Like as you can see,
whoa! So that's literally a few seconds ago. So
yeah.
These people are, they're bleeding out the market here, right? A couple of ETH here, a couple of ETH there, but just consistently.
In real time, yeah, exactly. As you can see, 5K clips just.
Yeah, just offloading massively, like a fund would, right?
You can add like different sorts of filters if you want to, like add tokens, if you want to add the value. There's many things that you can filter out by. Again, this would be a really cool feature if you're interested in the Hyperliquid ecosystem and what smart traders are doing. Let me go back to it, because perhaps if you see here, like we also label as smart Hyperliquid perps trader. Some of these, like Not Wintermute or Not Fasanara Capital, which are funds and market making firms, but perhaps we could look at more of an individual trader.
Wow.
Short BDC
20. Another one just absolutely
realized position of 27 million.
So, okay, I mean, what I love about this as well, right, is looking at this data and looking and tracking the trades. You could go back in a granular fashion through that information, find these people that have been most effective at these, and turn around and say, right, okay, what was the pivotal moment? When did they flip? So let's say, for example, you could collate it to within a 3-day period that these major funds, the best traders on there, started to really get heavily short with leverage. Then you could kind of look at the technicals that overlay that, and you could kind of say, okay, X, Y, and Z reason, this is what we would look for. So the odds are that there's going to be particular levels and areas that these similar kind of people that have been successful are buying this up and selling it back in the same way you would look at, similar activity in the traditional markets.
Yeah, exactly. And you can also do something that is pretty cool. Let's say, for example, we go on Wintermute, right? And same way as you do, you could potentially right click and do a wallet profiler for token here. Let's say on Hype. Boom.
Wow. Okay. So that's pretty incredible. Now, so this is for a wallet type, right? So this is you're seeing this. Oh my God. This is
and
on
look
like
how
a
active they've been on trading this.
That's incredible. This is a 5-minute chart.
Shorts, longs.
So they're just popping these, right? Because look, I mean, it's a silly adage, right? It's a common thing to say, but they're literally buying low, selling high. The information that they've got though is like literally if you just drew a box at the lows of all their buys, right, and the high of all their sells, you basically almost got a perfect range there.
Yep.
You just basically wait until you're getting back in a zone where the smart money's been active. I don't think you're probably going to do too badly there. I mean, Jesus, when you zoomed out there, you could have had about 15 trades this morning that would have been absolute bangers just using that range.
Exactly. And all you need to do is just follow what these more sophisticated funds are doing, As I mentioned before, a lot of them have over 20, 30, 40 different sorts of analysts trading, and these are very, very smart people that are
well resourced as well, right? These people have a lot.
Well capitalized. And so for just a normal investor like, let's say, you and I, that wanted to get an edge in the market, this is the real value where Nansen plays a big part, is just understanding what the big players in the space and what we call smart money is actually doing and following steps. And we offer you tools, of course, like the smart alerts, for example, to be able to do this in real time.
So now I'm just kind of sat here, and the only issue I can think up is where am I going to find an extra like 10 hours a day that I want to dive into this, right? Because right now what I want to do is get off this show. No offense, I'm loving it. Dive into this and go, right, okay, where's my range for today?
Yeah.
Look at the market volatility. Who's trading this well? We got something that's really nicely settled in. But then also, and I know this is a bit of a teaser because I know you guys haven't really announced this yet. So we've got a little bit of an inside track on this. I appreciate. But to then be able to facilitate the trading from the platform as well, that's a bit of a game changer, right? Rather than doing your research, picking your levels, changing this, opening, another vehicle to place the trade, manage the trade, all of a sudden you're going to be able to kind of action everything from one place.
Yeah, exactly. And even before the trading launch, which is definitely going to become a very solid bridge between what Nansen offers in terms of research and then the element of execution, which we weren't able to fulfill before this launch comes in. But we had our mobile app launch not long ago. And with the mobile app, you're really able to, there you go.
So this is iOS. So this is Apple for anybody that's this is iOS and Android, is it?
Exactly. iOS and Android. And with this app, we bring in an AI agent, so as well as LLM, and allows you to just ask any questions that you have without having to dive deep on the dashboards. Wow. So as you can see on this example, find top 5 tokens of Solana by smart money inflows in the past 24 hours, and you're able to get very quick information. And this you are also able to track your portfolio and soon enough be able to trade directly on your phone.
That's absolutely incredible. And just so I don't get this wrong, the app is live, right?
The app is live. Yeah, you can download it on your App Store or Google Android Play Store as well. And I think it's a massive benefit. At least myself, I begin my day just by asking the agent what's happening in the markets today. It gives me a roundup overview. I asked him if there's any major discrepancies between inflows and outflows around smart money, and if I see any opportunity there, I'll action it immediately. And if I want to do a deeper dive, this is when I come to the main desktop app and I check on the dashboards and the charts.
I love that, because one of my favorite things to do in the morning is I get up early, check the London session, see how things are starting to play out, start to digest some of the news, which, I use kind of AI agents as collation instruments to find out anything that's maybe happened overnight during Asia. But then to just get myself the separation before I sit down really and sit behind the terminal, I take the dog out in the morning, we go walk along the beach, sun's up, you've got that nice clarity of focus. I typically look at a couple of things on my phone, like using, your favorite AI people to kind of bring in together the news, start to research what's going on. What I love about this is you can just be strolling along the beach, ask a really simple question, and then by the time you get in from the dog walk, you put the kettle on and you basically got your action plan for the day to dive in on the terminal.
That's exactly it. You nailed it.
That's an absolute banger. That really is an absolute banger. So just run over this quickly again before we've got probably maybe about 5-6 minutes, right? And I really want to kind of dive in. But can you just refresh my thinking on this again, right? I can't have misheard you, but I think that I have. How much did you say that the platform access is available for at the moment?
So right now, if you wanted to get a Nansen subscription, you would be able to. Let's see if I can find it here. No, but I'll do, like for example, this code. You'd be able to get with an affiliate discount, and Burp Nest can give you the community your own. If you pay it yearly, it goes down from 49 to 44 per month, and this will be like a pretty good saving. If you do it monthly, again, it will.
I mean, this is pittance, right? I mean, I'm not being funny, right? You're talking about access to this not too long ago, and rightly so, in my opinion, was like what, $1,800 to $1,000?
Yeah, exactly. So everything that is included in this Pro package, which is with your affiliate discount 44.10, it's the same as it was included in the pricing for 1,000 per month.
That's amazing. So basically, you guys kind of responded to the fact that you had such high interest in this, such conviction from people that were doing the early stage testing. Obviously, I know there are a lot of funds using this. They're using Nansen, right? But you've kind of gone for that idea that actually, do you know what? Let's expand the user base. Let's remove the barrier to entry, and let's arm as many people as we can with this knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. And at the core, we're a B2C company, and we really want to serve the large retail user to be able to help our community win on chain. We don't want just the big funds to make all the money. We really want to have that ability to people like the average crypto investor, and let everyone make the most out of the market and trade in the best way possible.
I mean, we all know the funds have enough help as it is, right? The resources, the smartest people, right? What we really want in the trenches is just that little edge. You don't want everything, but you just want, if you can just get some of these insights into your trading, right? I mean, everybody knows 5-10% difference in your trading and investing game over the course of a year can be the whole difference between financial freedom or not. Right, okay, let's leave you a couple of minutes at the end to kind of tell us how we can get involved, to tell us what we can get through. But I would love to know, just first of all, what is there anything that has really pinged up on this recently, maybe in the last few days, and putting you really under pressure here, that's really made you stand up and take interest? Are you seeing any changes, I suppose a better way to be? Are you seeing any kind of inflows into the space? Are you seeing anything that's really standing out as abnormal in terms of people starting to accumulate more crypto here? And if they do, are they heavier towards Bitcoin, or are people still speculating on some of the, the major low caps?
I think that there's been lack of interest across very much of degen plays in the last few weeks, given the downtrend that we've seen in the markets. People are, as you saw on some of these hyperliquid positions, people are taking more shorts than longs, and that often comes with bigger allocations to stables, or people trying to use DeFi protocols like Aave for yield farming, for example, on their stable. So I haven't really seen much across more risky positions in that regard. But with that being said, there's always a few tokens here and there where you see like a massive run-ups. And for example, when it was the privacy token narrative a few weeks back with Zcash, for example, leading the front run, you were actually able to identify this run before it happened through Nansen's. And just asked my agent what's happening here with Zcash, just as I saw it first moving up, and it literally told me, hey, this is something that we're seeing smart money putting a lot of attention in. We're seeing a growing number of smart money traders, not just inflow, but the amount of traders coming in, and that really tells me the details of it.
That's amazing. So basically, I'm very, very fortunate that I've got one of the best on-chain analysts that I've ever come across in a chap called KZM, XBT KZM. If anybody wants to follow him on Twitter, or anybody that's with us at the moment at the Bird Nest, you have access to him directly. And he got us really early stage, a little bit like yourselves, onto the privacy scene, right? And even to the point that when Zcash started to kind of lose a little bit of momentum, really had some good kind of insights, obviously using the on-chain data that you guys provide, right? The similar kind of view on things, but also managed to keep us in trades like XMR, Monero, right? When this thing has basically been like a mirror correlation to Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
It was really funny because it's having that kind of understanding. So as a technical trader, I'm kind of a little bit blinded to that. I trade the sentiment, I trade the charts, I get these wonderful reports and every bit of access that I can. But realistically, seeing something like we did, because one of the first things the trading team, the technical side, came out to me and said is, "Oh my God, have you seen the move on Zcash? Right? We need to get on to and have a look." The key is you probably missed the majority of that at that point, or you're waiting for a pullback. But then you could use on-chain, right, to find, okay, well, where are the other speculators starting to angle towards now? If privacy tokens are the real in thing, where are people positioning? And I absolutely love that. Look, Ricardo, unfortunately, we're running short of time. I could keep you on here all day. We got a couple of minutes left, but maybe you can tell our viewers, how they can get in touch with you, how they can find Nansen, if you guys are doing anything that you really, to promote recently.
Absolutely. So the first thing is anyone that would like to sign up to become a Nansen affiliate, it's very simple. All you have to do is go on nansen.ai/affiliates. We offer affiliates a bunch of different opportunities to earn, like 10% commission on any subscriptions that you're able to refer. You get a revenue share also for staking. You have myself as your dedicated affiliate manager, and we also give you free access to Nansen Pro. So to anyone that is a content creator and would like to use Nansen to expand on their posts, this is a great opportunity to get paid for it as well.
Amazing.
The second thing is on our affiliate program, we just launched the Nansen Affiliate Cup. And this month, we're going to be having a 100K prize pool for our top performing affiliates. So this is also an amazing opportunity to get some Christmas gifts paid out. That
is awesome. I love it.
Nansen, like if you want to buy something nice for your loved ones, maybe you can do it and Nansen will sponsor it. So I'll encourage everyone to go in and join our contest. And last but not least, I would also just like to point out Nansen has a really cool points program where everyone that buys a subscription that also prefers or stakes with Nansen is able to stack Nansen points. We offer a large amount of different benefits with different ecosystem partners, and we also have different seasons of the points. So each season is going to be more compelling and offer even bigger rewards. There's different tiers to the points. The more points you stack, the bigger your rewards will be. And last but not least, just wanted to show Nansen more than analytics. We also do staking. So anyone that would like to stake with Nansen, we have a large coverage of different assets that you can stake. You earn points, you earn APY. So it's essentially a no-brainer. As you can see here with Monad, we're the first to be listing Monad for staking, and you can earn up to 15% APY and 2x points boost. So
nice,
no-brainer here.
Magic, man. I was so in. I'm surprised I didn't zoom in. I was holding my face so close to the screen. Man, they're so exciting. I think one of the things that I love the most is, something. I work with a lot of traders technically, right? And one of the really, really big things that we really kind of, explain to people in our community is you've really got to become an expert in something. People often just approach trading just with this really broad. 1 minute I'm using indicators, the next minute I'm using moving averages. 1 minute I want to be technical, the next minute I want to be on chain, right? And what happens is you end up becoming a master of nothing, right? You spread yourself too thin. But when you get to a point, you certainly understand trading, your systems, or what speaks to you. It's such a benefit to be able to add a skill set like this. But what I can't do is I can't go away and gain the last 5-10 years of knowledge that you've built, or the team at Nansen have, or what, my fundamental and on-chain analyst, KZM can do.
Mhm.
I could, but I'm going to have to spend 5-7 years like I did training in technicals to have that level of understanding. Well, now with technology, AI agents, all the amazing thing you guys are delivering kind of puts that in a mobile app, right? I still, again, maybe showing my age a little bit, but stuff like that still really blows me away. The speed at which you can have access to really life-changing information and data.
Mhm.
So, man, look, just otherwise I'm going to stick us here all day and then we'll never get to the closing show. But Ricardo, thank you so much for coming on the show. Guys, please do make sure you're following them. I mean, I'm going to go away right now. I'm signing up. I'm getting on there and I'm just going to have a play, right? I've got about 15 different ideas in my head already how I can use this for my intraday system, let alone my long-term holdings. And also, I love how you can package everything in, right? Like the staking as well, right? Again, you're just not using 10 different platforms to do all of this, which, for boomers like me, as they call me in this industry, right? It makes a lot of sense to keep everything condensed in one place. So look, a really, really big thank you for coming on, Ricardo. Everyone, make sure you're in touch with Nansen. Make sure you're in touch with Ricardo. Reach out if you need any of the information. You can find it down in the description on YouTube, or you can reach out to us via Twitter or X, or just reach out to me and I'll give you all the details that we've got as well. But don't sleep on this. Ricardo, thank you so much for coming on, my friend. Yeah, and I hope to see you again soon.
Yeah, have a good week. Thank you.
Thanks, brother. Oh man, that was so interesting, right? I mean, we've been absolutely blessed to have some truly incredible guests on here. And to be honest, I think that's, for me, in terms of what's really stood out, we've had some amazing speakers, some great advice, but in terms of an actionable step that I'd be looking to take genuinely would be to say, okay, if you're somebody watching this and you really need to, you feel like you didn't have an understanding of the market conditions, you feel like you really got caught short, work on your education. Okay, you've got lots of great resources. You've got the opportunity to join the Bird Nest at the moment, make the most of our wonderful education resources there, or go and find other stuff. You can find stuff in the public domain as well. But if you're somebody that has got more experience in this industry, maybe you're happy and content being a technical trader, maybe your systems are working, but you got caught out by the moves in October, that have put you under the hurt, I'd really be looking at this stuff, guys. This really excites me. I know I do a lot of traditional market stuff, but with crypto, to have these kind of insights, I would have bit your arm off years ago to have these in traditional markets. So the UX is great. They've got an amazing team over there. We're getting to know them really well. But look, data speaks for itself. Watch this back. And I'm not being funny, for $40, $50 a month, it's a little bit of a no-brainer in my opinion. Anyway, we're going on to the closing show very shortly. So just want to say a really, really big thank you. Please do remember Cyber Monday deals are live. You can find everything in the link in the description at the bottom if you're watching this on YouTube. If not, head over to the Burb Nest Twitter or X profile. You can find everything there. If you struggle with anything apart from that, reach out to me at BC_Richfield and I'll get you set up. Stay in touch, stay here for the closing show, and really look forward to seeing you all around the net.